to circumvent the human condition, the fall of Adam, and the present condition of the human race. Transhumanists are working tirelessly to construct for themselves, either to modify their own bodies genetically or to construct for themselves new bodies into which they can transpose their consciousness. And there are a host of different technologies that are being developed to this end right now. And that's the basic doctrine of the transhumanists. They want to, quote unquote, improve the human condition, but what they really mean is they want to circumvent the human condition, and by doing so, get around salvation in the cross, the exclusive hope for the human race in the cross of Jesus Christ. That is precisely what transhumanism is. And so, as Steve said earlier, this is that old lie that was whispered from the mouth of the serpent to the mother of our race in the Garden of Eden, that you shall be as the gods. And their goal, of course, their ultimate goal is immortality. There are a host of implications involved in the transference of one's consciousness into machines, or creating non-human bodies for human souls or spirits or minds, or however you want to, whatever context you want, to go into those bodies, to inhabit those artificial bodies. The spirit of man was made to inhabit the human body. This is all a brazen slap in the face of the Maker. And that is what we really need to understand, that the transhumanist agenda could not be more Luciferian. It is utterly Luciferian. And the legislation is already being laid behind the scenes by transhumanists, by futurists, by people who are already thinking in terms of robots and artificial intelligence.
In 2 Corinthians 5, first verse says, "For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. And for in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven." Now, it's in the Greek that this has some subtleties we want to be sensitive to. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle, he's using here the idiom of a tent for our temporary dwellings. Why? Because a tent is typically considered a temporary dwelling for camping, whatever. You and I are in our temporary dwellings that serves us for a period of, 70 or whatever. We know that if our earthly house of this tent were dissolved, we have a building of God, a building of God's. He's shifting to a more permanent idiom here. A house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. You know, one thing, let me just insert this too. You know, most of us tend to think of this as, look at this podium, or our physical universe as being real, and we tend to think of the spiritual universe as sort of ephemeral, invisible, sort of a fuzzy neverland kind of thing. It's the other way around. This podium is a simulation. It's an electrical simulation. It only feels solid. There's more space than solid here if you really understand the atomic structure. It's the real universe that's real. This is a simulation of sorts. But anyway, he goes on then, "For in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed upon with our house, which is from heaven." Now the word house here is an interesting word. In the Greek it's okaterion, and it's interesting because it only occurs twice in the Bible. Once here, as referring to that which we aspire to in our resurrection bodies. The only other place it shows up is in Jude 6. And there, it's a strange allusion. In Jude 6, he's talking about the bizarre goings-on of Genesis 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, hath he reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. He's referring to the judgment of those angels that generated the Nephilim in Genesis 6. And what's interesting is this first estate, the word is arche, which means principality or majesty of either angels or demons. They left that. They kept not their first estate, but they left their own habitation. The word habitation there again is okaterium, this dwelling that they disrobed themselves of to engage in this mischief in Genesis 6. It's the same word that describes that body that we aspire to in our resurrection bodies that will be instantly given to us at the rapture. In fact, see the next verse. It's interesting. Paul reveals something here in the third verse of 2 Corinthians 5. He says, let me take verse 2 first. For in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven, if so be that being clothed we shall not be found naked. What on earth is he talking about? You see, when someone dies, their body, of course, goes to the ground or whatever. What happens to their spirit? Anyone? They're with the Lord immediately in the spirit. They don't have their bodies yet. When do they get their bodies? At the resurrection. Paul uses that phrase, naked, as being with the Lord, but not with his body until the resurrection. And what he is revealing here, interestingly enough, is his desire, his hope, that he could be raptured so that that he will be not naked, that interval, whatever that interval is.
I lay in the bed, still hoping something would happen. Suddenly I saw a light light up in the front yard. It was a bright, beautiful white light shining on the grass like moonlight, but 10 times brighter. I got up and looked out the window, and this light with rays coming out of it, and the rays penetrated my body, some of them, and I could like taste his presence in the rays. It was the most extraordinarily beautiful experience I've ever had.
Co się dzieje? Jestem w środku. W środku czego? Nie wiem, mój umysł jest wewnątrz. Wszedłem tam. Byłem w środku. Wszystko w porządku? Jest ich chyba ze 20. Jak wyglądają? Plamy niebieskiego światła. Nawiązałem kontakt. Prowadziliśmy dialog. Kim oni są? Zbliżają się, rosną. Mleczno-białe światła zniżają się i unoszą. Wyżej jest coś większego. Otwiera się jakaś luka. Widzisz coś w środku? Nie. Co to znaczy? Miałem kontakt z inteligentną istotą.